Beloved heart, I invite you to sign up to my mailing list, and as a result of signing up, you will get a free gift. It's a 5D rebalance tune-up of all these chakras, and chakras are my specialty, so I would love to gift you with this transmission that is filled with light language and codes to help you stay balanced and tuned up during these increased frequencies of energy of this ascension, this new earth frequency. So check out the links in the notes of this show, and I look forward to connecting with you. I am sending you love. Welcome, beloved Awakened One. I'm Monica Bermudez, and this is the podcast of the Ascended Earth, the transfiguration of the new you, the new human. We are an ever-evolving human, learning, growing, expanding, and upgrading. What you are and always will be is a divine, cosmic galactic source from source, more than you can imagine. But not all of us are living to our fullest potential. It is time to embrace what you are and unlock your magical keys and spiritual gifts. This podcast is a transmission of energy codes meant to unlock other dormant DNAs to remember, reconnect, revive, and renew you to the new human, the avatar that you are. This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, beloved. It's Monica Bermudez. In this episode, I want to talk about the numbers and the encodements in relation to the numbers and what numbers have been coming up lately with the ascension and the awakening, that things are so accelerated. And some of the most common numbers that I've been personally seeing and that I feel that so many are also seeing, which I felt the impulse to talk about in this podcast, in this episode. So first of all, my experience with numbers. I've always loved numbers since I was little, so much that I ended up studying engineering that involved a ton of numbering and equations and so forth. But energetically, though, number is a universal language, and they carry their own encodement and frequency and vibration as well. And just like Tesla has, said in his quote, that to know the secrets of the universe, it's through the frequency, the energy, and the vibration. And numbers contain all of this in them, which is a way also for a lot of our guides and the universe to communicate with you, with all of us. And that's how they relay their messages. It's almost like an SOS type language and encodement. However, a lot of it also relies on your own intuitive insight as to what it is that is coming in at that time. So what I want to share, though, is how I feel like in a general statement, collectively, the message that is coming through, which will also serve, as an individual basis of information as well. And then I'll also share, tips about the numbering if you run into a certain sequence and pattern in your life. So oftentimes, you may end up seeing it through dreams or maybe in a license plate or on a clock or in some other random place that you suddenly feel that someone is tapping you on the shoulder, or you get this sense, right, to look in a certain direction, and you look and you see like a certain phone number sequence, and there is the sequence of 333, for instance. And so that isn't a coincidence. That is a message in there. And it's in more of an encodement of like energy upgrades. So one of the most common numbers that I've seen energetically and a lot lately has been 333. And what I want to say about this numbering sequence is that 3, which is a universal number for creation, because in the triangle, there are 3 points. And every triangle has always been a symbolism of creation and manifestation. So when you have a 333, you have triple manifestation and triple creation. So in relation to one of the episodes which I just recorded, it talks about the 5D manifestation. And lately, things have been so accelerated as far as creation and manifestation. So to me, this message is that there is an acceleration of creation, and it is your own creative energy and energy power that you hold within yourself as a reminder of that creative energy that you hold inside of you. However, I also feel that these number sequences are also an upgrade, and they're upgrading your certain encodements within yourself of certain creative codes that you hold within yourself that are unique to yourself also. And so when you see this number pattern of sequence of certain arrangement, which is a repetitive numbers of 3, the 333, you're also receiving this upgrade of creation. So it's not to say, that you're going to go out and start, forcing yourself to notice these things, but it's just a natural gravitation. So the 333 is just an example of that. And there's other sequences that have been the most common, which has been the 444. And the 444 is also an angelic number. However, the 4 is a symbolism of stability. And so as we are, going through all these changes, there is this sense of, things have been a bit unstable. But however, the 4 is also indication of being in a certain direction and going in the direction that we're meant to in this soul alignment, which will lead to our own stability. And so this is a 444, the 444 of the stability. And again, it is also a certain encodement in regards to that as well, that is in our own soul alignment. And so if you look at the 4, though, it's representation of a square. It's just like on a table, right? When you have 4 legs, you have that stability. And so that's what the 4 is representing. However, with the other most common one is the 222. And 2 is this, form of balance of the 2, right? It's like you're living in a dual life, but you're maintaining that balance of that duality. And so you can also break it down and you have the 2 ones, the 2 columns, right? Of the 2, which would equal to would look like 11. So you can look at it in that way as well. Now the 2 is about overcoming certain duality and obstacles and challenges, because as we find ourselves in this world of duality, that we are to walk this middle path and be able to keep ourselves balanced despite of what may be going on around us and whatever chaotic situation that may be happening. And because of this great ascension, this great awakening that we're all in, it has been even extra challenging because of so many things and situations and chaos that has been coming up at a very rapid and accelerated way. And so, yes, that's the 222 is giving us that upgrade and that encouragement, that strength to be able to keep ourselves in that balanced state. But it's also a reminder too that we are able to keep ourselves, that we have the capacity to have that balance in us because of the power that we hold within our own soul. And so that is, as well, that reminder. So now if we look at these numbers a little further, because I like to look at the mystical side, energetic side of them, where we were to add them up and reduce to one number, where, for instance, the 333, it would add up to 9. And so 9 is a number of completion. So since I've been seeing a lot of 333s, it feels like there's been a lot of completion cycles lately in my life. And so been tons of, from like changing my location to changing, my community and who I'm connecting with. I mean, it's just been like a number of changes and completions and cycles. And part of it, breaking from certain barriers of the 3D matrix. So if you're seeing this 333, then that is also what is happening, is that you're receiving certain encodements in that number sequence of patterns that also has to do with the completion of cycles as well. And with the recent eclipse energy, that's all it's been about. It's been some really shocking completing cycles as well as new beginnings in that too. If you look at the number 4, what you get is, when you add them up, 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. So 1 plus 2 is 3. And yet that's the number of creation. So that is also another message about the creation in our life in regards to our own stability, where we're creating to keep ourselves in that stability of energy, as well as we're, going through all of these other challenges too that have been coming up in the world and in our life, in our own communities as well. And if we look at the number 2s and we add that up, is 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. Now 6 though is an interesting number because it can have its own sequence of numbers, right? It could be 3 plus 3, could be 4 plus 2, could be 5 plus 1, or 6 plus 0. So in this case, though, if we look at the number sequence for like 3 plus 3, then we're talking about double creation as well. So it includes a lot of changes within that number 6 itself. However, the number 6 is also associated with the heart, because I always attribute the heart to be the balancing point for keeping all the balance in the life, in this dual life that we find ourselves, is the heart, because it also keeps us in a very discerning way of navigating these certain changes in our life and all the chaos and information that we're being loaded with as well. So keeping that discerning heart to what resonates in that moment and keeping yourself balanced at the same time. So there is a lot to the numbers that the universe and our guides communicate to us in a certain sequence of numbers. And so, there's also the 111, that, the number sequence of ones, and ones are all about new beginnings. So if you're seeing that, chances are you're going through some really significant new beginnings as well. And if you're seeing all of these numbers that I just mentioned, then there's definitely, a lot of changes going on in your life as far as completing cycles and also starting new cycles in your life. And so these are, some of the tips to share about, like, if you're seeing some of these number sequence, is that number 1, just be aware and know that they're definitely communicating with you. The universe is sending you certain encodements to these number sequence. And so number 2 is just to be with it and just really tune into your own heart, to the message and the energy encodements that you're receiving in that moment, and just be with it. And so number 3 is grab a journal for your downloads of messages that are coming through as you are tuning into these number sequence of patterns and just really be with it to receive those downloads of cosmic universal messages that want to come at this time through those number sequences. So I will be interested to hear what number sequences have been coming up for you lately. But I feel, though, that 333 has been a very common number lately for this ascension and this awakening. And so it is very key to be aware and pay attention. If you are receiving this, then it definitely has to do something with your own creative energy and force that you have within yourself, because we all have this very strong creative energy, and which also means about our own manifestation and creating our own reality or shifting our reality. If we don't like our situation at this time, then we have that power to make that change. And so that 333 is a reminder in that sequence that you have the power to make those changes yourself and live your dream life, or live the life that most resonates with you for this, during this ascension times and this awakening. Because what's happening with the ascension is that we're expanding so much, and that our consciousness is also expanding as well, that we are becoming even more aware of the things that just no longer resonate with us. And so it is time to make those changes, even if it seems kind of scary, and if we are in our own comfort zone of living for years in a certain location, or being with someone for so many years, or just being in a job for so many years and just being comfortable in it. That makes it so much challenging, right, to make those changes. But if your heart is calling for something different, that is where you should really pay attention to that and assess, a way to maneuver and navigate yourself into a different reality, to shift it so that you are in a much more alignment to those higher frequencies of expansive energy. And so I am sending you so much love, and I will catch you at the next episode. Take care. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field. Sending you so much love.